Good morning, everyone. Morning. My name is Allie Carville, and I would like to welcome you to the University Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, or UU. I will be your service leader this morning, along with our guest speaker, Brooke Rudow. We are a lay-led congregation, which means we have a variety of speakers who share many different ways of knowing and understanding the beloved community, which is an interdependent web of existence, one of our Unitarian Universalist values. My pronouns are she, her. I am seated using a wheelchair. I have blonde hair, white skin, and wearing a blue-green top. If we could take a moment to make sure that our cell phones and other devices are turned silent for our time together, this would be that time. Thank you. For everyone's awareness, our emergency exits are the main entrance, which is the most accessible, and in the back, which does have the sliding door, which has a slight bump to step or roll over. Thank you. I'd like to take a moment to welcome our guests and any online community and friends. Let us now take a moment to greet our friends in person and online by giving a wave. Let's take a moment to take a guess, and as we are greeting guests, if you have a committee announcement, please start to line up. Thank you. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. I am Sarah Sullivan. I'm here on behalf of the auction. The auction, you might say. Oh, that sounds fun. Well, it is. What I want to encourage you today is to think about what you might donate to be one of the things in the auction. Do you have something you're particularly good at that you think you could offer as a service to someone? Or do you want to host some kind of a gathering? There's all sorts of ways you can think of to donate. I have a little slip here which gives you the way to donate online. I'm going to pass it around and take one if you're interested. It also has the important dates for when the auction items will be available to view online, when to bid on them, all of that. Also, if you would like to go to a business that you frequent and ask them if they might be willing to give a gift certificate or an item, I have the form that you can give them to fill out. This gives all the information that they would need to make the donation. So I'm not going to pass this one all the way around, but I've got plenty. You can raise your hand and I'll bring you one, or we can you can see me after service. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Janet, and I'm happy to say that next week, before the service at 9 a.m., we're having another New Inquiring Minds meeting. This is going to be open mic, so come with your ideas. And also, on Tuesday, March 3rd, we're having our next program planning meeting. This is going to be online via Google Meet. The link is in the notable news, and I'll be sending out the link to anyone who has participated before. And so it's just a working meeting to help plan the services for the next 3 months, and hope to see you there.
Good morning, Kelly Buchanan. On behalf of Hospitality and the Marketing Committee, just a reminder that March the 8th is our next community potluck. And we've decided that it's going to be the side of love with the food you love potluck. So and again, it's that comfort food that might mean something to you. That again, that's what we're going to celebrate in terms of food. But I wanted to also share that in terms of marketing, we'll have a photographer here that day. And one of our goals is to try to capture more photos and videos of our community in action. And so we're asking that if you could please wear your Side of Love t-shirt. And the reason why is because we're going to, after service on March the 8th, right after service, we're going to move out into our church campus and take congregational pictures. These congregational pictures will then be uploaded on our website, on our social media platforms. The ones that we have now, I think, have been there since 2018, so they're quite old, and so we're trying to reignite, refresh, just our values, and love is definitely in the center of that. So I wanted to say, if you would like a t-shirt and you didn't get one, we have extras in the back. We've got medium, large, extra large, and double X, $15. So please participate. Wear your Side of Love t-shirt on March the 8th. If you have any other t-shirts that are branded with UUF, you can wear those too. I think there's some blue ones around that we had. We had one from the tie-dye not too long ago for the Pride Parade. So again, wear your UUF merch. All right, March the 8th. Thank you.
Did merch ever become one of those? Yeah. Yes. Word of the year with the dictionary. Okay, Joey Cole for the pledge drive. Again, sustaining what we love is the message of our pledge drive, and we are trying to remember all the things that we love, including coffee, on our heart board over there. So please be sure to write the things that you love on a heart-shaped Post-it note and put it on the large heart. All of this month has been motivation, ready for you to put your hand in your pocket and pull out some money. And that hopefully will be next month. Okay, a couple of practical things to be considered here. As I said last week, you can fill out a hard sheet or a paper copy of your pledge form. You can go online to the website. There is a donate button, but there's also a button specifically for the pledge. And I am reminded today, again with the idea on a practical note, by Ann, that when you hit the pledge button on the website, it comes up and gives you a guide as to what you might want to give. And that's one of the things I want you to be thinking about now. You got to figure out your budget as well. A couple of things to consider. First of all, when you give us a budget amount that you can contribute, you can pay that any way you want, monthly, weekly if you want it, however you want. If you want to pay it quarterly, that's okay too. You just need to let us know. We are helping, we hope that helps a little bit. Also, the actual money doesn't start coming in until July 1, so keep in mind that our fiscal years runs from July 1 through June 30th. So it'll start this July 1, this new pledge drive. Let me see. You have to decide, and the pledges will be, I'm hoping that the pledges will start coming in March. We have March and April to get everybody on board. And I think I've said all of the practical things. I forgot. There is a group, maybe Andrew will help me with this, Benevity. Am I saying it correctly? There is a group called Benevity. For those of you who are working, there are some actually good employers out there who will, if you will ask them, they will match your charitable contribution. That would be a lovely way to get an extra bit of money into the church to keep things running. Okay, with that, I'm going to stop with my couple of jokes. It is said that when a UU prays, he starts out with, "To whom it may concern." Unitarianism is a refuge for rebels, a haven for heretics, and a shelter for skeptics. UUs are not a chosen people. They are the choosing people. Okay. And this is an old Unitarian prayer. Dear God, if there is a God, if you can, save my soul, if I have a soul. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Joey, and thank you all for your announcements. Now as we center into our service time, I have these opening words by Shari Woodbury, entitled Our Holy Hearts. Whether by habit or out of need, whether in body or through cyberspace, you entered this sanctuary. Light shining sky inside, open space for hearts and minds. There is no separation here of the sacred from the profane. No setting apart from the natural world. For nothing can be more precious than the ordinary beauty of spring or the stirrings of the human heart and spirit. Let us bring then our holy hearts into this place of ritual and song. Let us once more commingle the elements of heaven and earth in the shrine of interconnection. Come, let us worship together. And now our opening music is hymn number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth, performed by Gary Levins and Alicia Tran. Please.
I'm just leading you all, so please stand if you're willing and able, and we'll have a short introduction. For the beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies, source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of ear and eye, for the heart and mind's delight, for the mystic harmony, linking sense to sound and sight, source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the wonder of each hour, for the high end of the night, hill and vale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of night, source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise.
Now is the time where we center together and light our chalice, which represents our community, and our chalice lighter this morning is Chase, his pronouns are he, him. He's 15 and he rode his bike yesterday. This is very, very. Hold on. Great job, Chase. Please join in reciting our covenant, followed by our affirmation. In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. Now our affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to help one another. Now is the time to share our joys and concerns, those things on your heart this morning. Please come to the microphone in the middle or raise your hand and we will bring the microphone to you. Please do remember we are live streaming, so share accordingly. Thank you.
Hi, Caitlin McElroy, she, her. I have a friend who has been struggling a lot with mental health. I've been calling him daily just to make sure that nothing happens. And if y'all could keep him in your hearts and minds, he's got a baby due early March. And it's been really hard for him and his wife. So If you guys could keep them in your mind, I'd really appreciate it.
I play basketball.
There you go. Oops.
Hello, everybody. David McElroy. A week ago today, Marilyn and I decided to go out to lunch after being here. And we had lunch and went home, and suddenly I started feeling pretty bad and worse and worse. And then I started having all these pains, and I kept trying to ignore them. And Marilyn said, well, should we go to the hospital? And I said, nah, I'm all right. And then I started screaming. So we went to the hospital. And I was screaming in the hospital, very loud, and you know I'm a loud person anyway. And there was these people looking at me like, oh my God, what's wrong with this guy? You know, and one gal was even doing this. Anyway, they got me back early because of that. And I found out that I had a perforated diverticula. Yeah, that was bad. And they gave me a lot of good joy juice to kind of calm it down, and they gave me a lot of antibiotics, and it got better and better, and they said if everything improves I won't have to have surgery. So if you guys could just kind of say he doesn't have to have surgery.
Good
Thank you. And thanks to Dr. McElroy, Dr. Furmanek, Dr. McElroy, and Nurse Baychek for all their help.
Hi, I'm Kat, and I bought my first car on Monday.
Yeah, buddy. Oh, you didn't. You got it? Oh, God. You gotta get that.
My joy is that I am making a necklace out of elastics, and they glow in the dark.
Good morning, Kelly Buchanan. Just a joy. I get really excited this time of year because, you know, it's planting season, gardening season in Florida. And so I broke out my 4 earth boxes, making my own soil medium. I have a 13 by 3 new bed that I'm going to turn over and put a big trellis up so I can grow some cucumbers and some green beans and all that type of stuff. So I'm super excited about growing my own food this year. So that's it. Thanks.
Thank you all for sharing your joys and concerns and all the good stuff in your life. Now is the time for all ages with our religious education coordinator, Tay Barton. Tay Barton.
Hi, everyone. So between here and my other job at a school, you can imagine I read a lot of children's books. One that I really enjoyed recently, and we will be reading in the Littlest UU class today, is Have You Filled a Bucket Today by Carol McLeod. And the idea is that we all hold an invisible bucket, in which the purpose is to hold our good thoughts and our good feelings about ourselves. So I want everyone here to take a few moments to think to yourself about how you would fill your bucket today. So think those good thoughts. Think, I am kind, I'm a good friend, I'm helpful, I'm part of a loved community. Any of those thoughts that you need to carry on and be happy. We can take the time each day to fill our own buckets. We can think happy thoughts. We can reminisce on our favorite qualities about ourselves. We can look back at the good things we did today. But we can also be a bucket filler for other people. Being a bucket filler may mean showing we care to our friends and family, being kind to a stranger, helping in our community, and a bunch of other moments in between. Can you all offer me some ideas of being a bucket filler? It can be big or small things, and you can raise your hand and I'll call. Chloe. Taking care of others. Yeah, David. Being positive. Joe. You forgot. That's okay. Dante. Smiling when you walk by a stranger. Eva, is your hand up? Yeah? Being loved? Yeah, and showing love. Addie. Helping people get up when they fall. Yes. Holding our tongue when something goes wrong. These are all really wonderful ideas, and I'm glad to hear that we all have so many ideas to help fill other people's buckets. Oftentimes, when we fill other people's buckets, we fill our own too. When you walked in today, you were given a sticky note. I'd like you to take a moment right now to write down a time someone in this community helped you fill your bucket. You can start writing. It can be something small like holding the door or complimenting your outfit, to big things like working with you when you plan an event. And write it down and then crumble up that sticky note into a little ball. And then, instead of an imaginary bucket, I have a very real, very blue bucket that needs help being filled. So, and all line friends, feel free to submit things and I will add sticky notes on your behalf as well. As this bucket goes around, you can drop your sticky note and the pencil, if you took one, into the bucket. Beyond being bucket fillers, there's the idea of being a bucket dipper. And those are the people who do things that might be unkind to others. Could be pushing someone down, cutting in line, saying something is stupid that someone else is really enjoying. Any of those things would be a bucket dipper, taking from someone else's bucket and hoping it fills up yours. But oftentimes it doesn't. Oftentimes you spill what you take and it never makes it into your bucket, leaving both of you feeling a little less sad, or a little more sad, a little less happy. As you use, our values make us the perfect bucket fillers. We cherish love and generosity and justice and equity, and we try to leave the world a better place than we found it. And there is no better way to start with ourselves and the people around us, to create a kinder, softer, more peaceful world than what we have, peaceful world. And we have to be the role models to take those first steps. And as we can see, as the bucket begins to continue to fill, both with pencils and our acts of kindness and our bucket filling, that we have a lot of love to share and go around. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tay, and to everyone who has contributed and will contribute. Now is the time for interlude and offering. We share 40% of our offering with an organization selected by our Social Action Committee, or SAC. Today we are sharing with the center through March, and this organization's mission is to promote and empower the LGBT community and its allies through advocacy, education, information, and support. Our offering will now be received. Thank you. Sorry. Our music this morning will be Spirit of Life, number 123, led by Martha.
I invite you to stay seated this morning since the children are moving among us, and join me in this, one of our favorites. Spirit of life, come unto me, sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion, blow in the wind,
shape of justice, roots only grows, wings set me free. Spirit of light, come to me, come to me.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your generous contributions, and our children are still collecting, so that's a great thing. Thank you, Triple U. Thank you, Triple U. Shall I continue? Shall I keep going? Okay. Please join us in our children's recessional as they go to their morning classes. They are welcome to stay in the service with you. We love you and bless you and send you on your way. We love you and bless you today and every day. Oh, we love all of our children. Thank you. This morning, our speaker is Brooke Rudow. She is an assistant professor of philosophy at University of Central Florida. Her research explores a range of issues in environmental ethics, political philosophy, epistemology, and philosophy of technology, all grounded by considerations of ethical responsibility and justice. She engages questions of ethical and civic motivation, considers barriers to taking up related responsibilities, and seeks solutions to overcome them. In addition to being a philosopher, she is a lover of hiking and surfing. Please welcome our speaker this morning.
Thank you so much for having me here today. As Ali mentioned, my name is Brooke. I am standing before you. I have long brown hair and light skin, and I will be wearing my glasses to read. It is no secret that we are in times of crisis, and while the causes of such crises are many, the roots of these causes tend to converge in certain places, or rather, they often issue from our conflicted and contested relationships to place. As Martin Heidegger noted in the early 1950s, we have not yet realized that the plight of dwelling is the question. That is, the question of how we are to make a home on this earth lies at the center of crises. Without grappling with this question, we face a greater danger than houselessness. We are threatened with losing our home. One way of considering the question of how to make a home on earth is to look carefully at our building materials. That is, we must consider how our technologies support the kinds of lives we want to live, or if they undermine them. Do our technologies allow us to flourish in and among the natural world and non-human others? This focus on technology is important, particularly in environmental philosophy, as all of our environments are ultimately technological environments. Over the last several years, the number of smartphone apps purporting to enhance our experiences in nature has steadily increased. The All Trails app, Merlin Bird ID, and even Instagram are increasingly used to get people out in nature. Through these apps and others like them, users have access to knowledge and activities that would otherwise be difficult, dangerous, or time-consuming. And users get to participate in the accumulation and dissemination of knowledge as they engage. But beyond being mere tools, these apps mediate the ways which we experience and participate in natural environments. Technological mediation is a central issue within the philosophy of technology and is gaining wider academic and public attention, especially in regard to our relationships with material, digital, and virtual worlds. Don Idey's Technology and the Life World set the stage for this with his analysis of 4 human-technology relations: embodiment, hermeneutic, alterity, and background relations. But the foundational insight at the core of each is that through our relationships with technologies, our experience is mediated. My experience is altered through my use of technologies in ways that both magnify and diminish that experience. ID's simple example is the use of glasses. My glasses, clearly my ability to see is enhanced, but at the same time, my vision is obscured, at least partially by my frame, and even more by the dust, grime, and smudges that gather on my lenses. For ID, this is an example of the trade-offs or two-sidedness involved in all technologically mediated experiences. As I turn to a deeper consideration of digital technologies, using AllTrails, Merlin, and Instagram as my exemplars, I will explore this two-sidedness of using digital technologies to find our place in nature. I focus primarily on the ways that these technologies distract, disrupt, or displace us as we seek robust experiences in natural environments. Going beyond the mediation of experience, who we are is shaped by our relationships with these technologies. So in the final section, I reflect on how apps purport to help us flourish and find our place. Ultimately, using them, we risk being lost. So what does it mean to flourish in and with our natural environments? Philosopher Forrest Klingerman argues that flourishing requires first that we must develop relationships to and in place, where an embodied engagement is both spatial and temporal. That is, relationships with place emerge from the smallest and nearest of things. The particularities that cannot be fully told must be perceived in order to facilitate this. He says that it's through finding ourselves in particular places inhabited by both human and non-human others, that we can come to understand ourselves as one among others. But he notes that as we go about our daily lives, we often forget to notice our places. This environmental amnesia is a key contributor to environmental crises. It is a radical homelessness, a harmful forgetting of space, time, sense, and meaning, which exposes the underside of our memory of place. This harmful forgetting has many causes: that we increasingly neglect material interaction with nature, that when we do interact, nature is consumed as an object of leisure, and that our commitments to individualism work against communal forms of participation with our natural environments. But the root cause is aesthetic. That is, something about our sensual receptiveness to the natural world has gone awry. Therefore, an aesthetics of place is a necessary remedy. In developing his aesthetics of place, Klingerman draws on the work of Emily Brady and Arnold Berliant. For them, environmental aesthetics, environmental aesthetics is necessarily participatory. One is intertwined and engaged in ways that are not seen as required for aesthetic experiences in many cultural contexts. Environmental aesthetics should get us fundamentally involved in place. This involvement is characterized by direct perception and attention to the materiality of place. It invites perception that is different from endeavors where knowledge is the aim. It's also different from aesthetic perception that hinges on evaluation in relation to categories like beauty and the sublime. Environmental aesthetics urges us to go beyond these categories, considering how a position of embeddedness in place might generate different kinds of aesthetic relationships with our environment. Place is aesthetically significant given that it's a lived particularity, the material of which again is both spatial and temporal. It's ephemeral and lasting. As beings grow, move, change, and die, they nonetheless leave traces that bear witness to their being. Given this dynamic between what stays and what fades, aesthetic experience of place can be one that is familiar and yet rich with surprise, unlike many art objects that have a fixity. In fact, the idea of an object of my experience scarcely makes sense here, as I am part of the place that I perceive, and I perceive myself in place. I experience myself aesthetically in an aesthetics of place. Beyond mere reception, I too make an impact, leaving traces as the trace of experience remains in me. Grounded by intersubjectivity, an aesthetics of place is bound up with my ability to perceive, interact with, and respond to living and non-living others. And this endows aesthetic possibilities with moral significance. These experiences can be rich with harmony or discord, belonging or estrangement. But it's through this interplay of place, others, and myself that meaning is generated and can take root. For Klingerman, this aesthetic engagement with and through place is indispensable to flourishing and helps us to remember rightly. He says, to limit our aesthetic involvement in our environment is to be lost, is to find ourselves out of place. As a practice of homemaking, an aesthetics of place is necessary for life. Digital technologies, like nature apps and social media, are vastly popular ways of getting people outside. Each in its own way seems to urge people to combat the first cause of environmental amnesia, this lack of contact. As more people confine themselves indoors and on phones, there is increasing attention to how to use digital technologies to overcome alienation. But though apps and social media may send us to natural places, do they contribute to an aesthetic involvement with place? In many ways, they do. After all, I can create art objects, videos, pictures, sound recordings using Instagram. Especially if I have such an end in mind, aren't I engaging place aesthetically? Merlin Bird ID allows me to identify animal others I might not otherwise recognize, meaning that I can engage them in more direct ways. All Trails has over 450,000 trail maps featuring reviews, weather predictions, reports, images, elevation guides, average time to complete, and a social media type sharing platform. When users track their ventures, the data is collected and used to improve the maps and information. One of the key user benefits of these apps is that they grant access to information that's otherwise difficult and time-consuming to obtain. And beyond access to information, the apps provide access to the world. Instagram lets me appreciate places I'll never be able to experience in my lifetime. Allowing a user to search virtually anywhere on Earth, All Trails can help me find places to be outside wherever I am and wherever I might go. Users of any skill can find trails suitable for them. An Appalachian Trail through hiker commented, there's often this connotation that you have to be physically fit and have all this expensive gear. Part of that is true because it makes things easier, but at the same time, this should be accessible to us all. And with All Trails, you can find trails that do not require walking and are accessible to those of us with a wide range of abilities. The Birdability organization points out, Merlin is one of those tools for many blind and low vision birders, and for many disabled birders whose bodies or minds engage most naturally through sound, or who need this tool as their sound in the case of deaf or hard of hearing birders. With initiatives designed to benefit ecological communities, the positive aspects of All Trails in Merlin go beyond those generated for human users. All Trails has a public lands program, partnering with local and national parks. When users use Merlin, the information they generate contributes directly to citizen science programs and is used for habitat conservation and protective initiatives. So it may sound as though I'm really trying to sell these apps. But I go into so much detail on the many goods because there is so much about them that is praiseworthy. A central benefit of these apps is that they provide access and open up aesthetic possibilities that may not exist otherwise. And yet, there are significant ways that digital technologies undermine an aesthetics of place and contribute to environmental amnesia. First, they take me out of place. Second, they sever the connection between aesthetics and memory. And finally, by freezing traces of memory in digital space, they produce facsimiles of remembrance rather than promoting remembering rightly. That mobile devices are distracting is hardly in dispute. Many of us know all too well their beck and call, luring our focused attention away from any important conversation or task at hand. But I can still silence my phone or turn on Do Not Disturb. There are measures I can take to keep my devices at the margins of attentional awareness rather than allowing them to take a thematic form. But certain kinds of technologies are different. If I'm using nature apps, for example, as a means to engage with natural environments, they are always part of the theme. That is because I need them. I need to keep them out and active. Not only is the likelihood of distraction from other digital sources dramatically increased, now that I'm identifying a bird call, I might as well check my email. But my attention vacillates continuously between the digital and natural worlds, fixing on neither with sustained continuity. If an aesthetics of place requires sustained attentive interchange with the materiality of place, this vacillation cannot support it. Each type of digital technology we might use in natural environments has its own way of mediating our encounter in nature. The Merlin Bird ID app, for example, keeps a tally of each bird I see, adding them to my life list as I snap photos or record their calls. While expert birders have long kept life lists, their process of identification is fundamentally different. Careful, painstaking observation, both visual and auditory, along with an understanding of habitat, range, migration, is required for accurate ID. It is a learned and practiced skill requiring attentiveness to the particularities of this bird in this place. Yet, the app listens and observes for you, providing an output of data on not this bird, but any and every type of bird. This place is interpreted as a container of items to sort and collect. And aesthetics of involvement is undercut by the way the app encourages me toward acquisition instead of engagement. The All Trails hiking app has a massive store of trails, each coming with turn-by-turn navigation. My movement is predetermined, fitted to the digital path generated by the apps. The timing of my journey, too, is recorded and goaded compared to the pace of thousands of others. I am told precisely how far I have gone and how far I have left. Some argue that our daily built environments erase the temporal dimension and that our days are spent in atemporal space. And although it's true that within many building walls we are denied the experience of nature's temporality, I think we are rather oversaturated with the temporal dimension. As I wake in the morning, the day stretches before me as a series of routines, meetings, and commitments, all carefully ordered down to the minute. As the force of temporal demands weighs heavy, my entire existence becomes linear, unitized, and used as every moment is already claimed. There is no rhythm, but a metronome. Rather than erasing the temporal, this process erases the possibilities for emplacement. I am always already somewhere else, looking at my watch, counting minutes, and anticipating the next task. But moving into natural environments can draw me into a different kind of temporality, one defined by the play of light, which insects are singing, or how far the vine has crept up the tree. My body, too, tells me when it's time to rest or snack, listen, or move. It's not that All Trails forbids this, but as I pull out my phone to track my next step, I am confronted with clock time, built time, unit order, hurry up time, and I am reminded that this time could be spent better, and I am once again carried away from where I am. I then interpret my experience, environment, and place as a site of leisure where my time is scheduled, limited in advance. And aesthetics of place requires sensuous engagement in its own time, on its own terms, is overshadowed by the running clock of my navigation app. Instagram is not properly a nature app. It is a social media site for photo and video sharing. Nonetheless, there are thousands of accounts devoted to sharing content related to the natural environment. This may motivate people in positive ways to get involved in their own natural environments. And because there's an obvious aesthetic character to it all, it may promote engaging nature aesthetically. In addition to creating content, users see themselves as creating and storing memories. Of course, taking photos and videos to preserve memory is nothing new, but Instagram urges us toward digital documentation and mediates our experiences in fundamentally different ways. Since 2014, scientific studies have increasingly established that photographing something makes it harder to remember. Named the photo-taking impairment effect, this phenomenon challenges our common sense notion that taking pictures assists memory. More recent studies confirm these findings, adding that even when people take multiple pictures of the same objects, their memory of them is worse than observation and makes the effect stronger. This was shocking to me, by the way. Researchers offer two main explanations for this phenomenon: cognitive offloading and attentional disengagement. That is, rather than devoting cognitive resources to retain memory, we trust that they're held elsewhere. We offload the information, delegating it to our devices. I don't have to remember, so I don't. The attentional disengagement account suggests that photo taking impairs memory because it causes photo takers to disconnect from the scene, whereby preventing them from fully encoding or attending to the photographed objects. Even when subjects were told and reminded that they would have no access to the photos taken, they still offloaded and disconnected. Social media establishes a posting urge in our culture at large, as we are compelled to document and share our experiences through digital means. Instagram alone has over 700 million active users, and studies examining the motivation of regular users found that documentation was one of the most important motives for using it. And I just want to point out, I'm no better. This is me up here at the same spot. I'm in the picture. Just as bad. Participants found themselves experiencing cravings to use the platform and more compelled to seek Instagrammable experiences. The more exciting or unique they felt their experiences were, the stronger the urge and need to share it immediately with their phones ready to hand. Because apps like these increasingly serve as motivational backdrops for our experiences, it becomes difficult to imagine an important event, achievement, lovely landscape, or interesting bug moving through our lives without capture and content creation. This contributes directly to the attentional disengagement suspected to be at the heart of photo-taking impairment. Though Instagram content may indeed push people to get outside, the Instagram platform adds to post. It refers any experience back to itself, and my time in the natural environment is guided by getting the right shot. My attention is on photo or video taking, not on the experience itself. The documentation Instagram invites is not an after-the-fact affair. Where I go and what I will do is shaped beforehand by what I will post later. An aesthetics of place that could generate remembering rightly is replaced by an Instagram aesthetic, one that is plagued with worsening patterns of repetition, a kind of eternal recurrence of the same. Place and my emplacement are remembered wrongly or not at all. Memory requires attention, responsiveness, and above all, salience within an experiential context. Memory is not the mere recounting of an object or an experience, but it's active, renewed, and changed through the present. Although digital technologies may document and record experience, providing perhaps a digital trace of place, what they offer embodied memory is fixed, stagnant, frozen, and defined. The sensual trace of memory is lost as the aesthetic impulse is directed elsewhere. I am displaced as I offload experiential content onto my device, and the dynamics of memory and the trace of place within are lost. I am not suggesting that when we use our phones and apps to guide our participation in natural environments, that we are disingenuous. In fact, I think it's just the opposite. We are sincere in our desires to be in and connect with nature. We seek natural places as sources of wonder, resilience, and care. And for the most part, people really do want to preserve and protect these places. The reason we use these devices is because we need support in our efforts. We need more opportunities and practices of engagement. Nonetheless, what these technologies offer is but a semblance of engagement, one that ultimately constitutes an aesthetic and existential harm. Do I have time for my last section? Okay, getting lost. Yeah. John Huth, in The Lost Art of Finding Our Way, says that one of the first things people experience when they are lost is denial. In this state, lost individuals will often start to bend the map. When we bend the map, we try to conform the features of our surroundings to what we expect to be there, even if in ordinary circumstances it is obviously mistaken. Although the physical reality is telling us that we're not where we think we are, we stubbornly refuse to accept it. We trudge on, thinking the trail or the lake is just up ahead. There's an odd imperviousness to it all. And contrary information from the environment that could yield truth is ignored. We are lost. We are in a new and rapidly changing technological environment, and there's a disconnect between the lives we want to live and the lives our technological environments facilitate. The laments of our times are well known. We want to limit our use of digital technologies. We want to use them well rather than constantly, and yet we cannot or do not. There's a similar lament at work here. We want to be in natural environments. We want to have experiences in places teeming with life and beauty, places too commonly removed from our everyday lives. But we are either too busy or too far away, or we lack the resources or the know-how. These laments signal something significant about where we stand in relation to our environment. We feel lost. In order to find our way through this increasingly digital world, we keep thinking that as our technologies develop, we have only to use them in the right way, at the right time, toward the right purposes. But I think we are disoriented. We are bending the map. Children are not getting enough exercise, so we create digital devices and virtual environments to urge them to move. People report a waning sense of community, and we turn to digital communities where anonymity and cruelty too often reign. Reading and writing skills are on the decline, yet we welcome AI summaries and compositions. Teachers are overburdened, and so we're relieved when AI systems can do our assessments for us. Even those discovering the cognitive dangers of GPS reliance tell us not to stop using it. The delusion at work here is that the technological development will show us the way, that backtracking is not an option, but we are bending the map. And none of this leads us out of the thicket. As we scramble to fit our devices into a reality they do not work for, we neglect to stop and ask the question, do these devices that make up this technological environment foster a life worth living, or do they foreclose it? It's not that I think that all trails or Merlin or Instagram make it impossible to live a good life, but the laments are real. We want relationships with the world and with others that make us flourish. We want to get outside. Apps can help us do that, but at a certain point, we must put them away or risk cutting the ground from under us. Though we have been exploring the two-sidedness of digital apps, there's a two-sidedness to being lost as well. On the one hand, getting lost is scary, dangerous, and sometimes fatal. On the other, realizing that we are lost might be just what we need to find a new way. Thank you.
Brooke is happy to talk during our coffee hour and conversation afterwards if you would like to ask further questions. The thing to go forward. Thank you. Now is the time to extinguish our chalice. If you would join me with these words above. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Okay. And please join us for our closing hymn, number 163, For the Earth Forever Churning, led by Janet.
This is a hymn that we used to sing a lot about 8 to 10 years ago, but we haven't sung it recently. So I'm going to ask Alicia to play it through once, okay? And please stand as you're willing and able.
The earth forever turning, for the skies, for everything, for our lives, for all we cherish, sing we our joyful song of peace. For the mountains, hills, and the pastures, in the silent majesty, for the stars, for all the heavens, we are joyful song of peace. For the sun, for rain and thunder, for the seas and majesty, for the lives, for all creation, sing we are joyful to thee.
Our closing words this morning come from Robert M. Piercig from Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. This quote is, "The Buddha, the Godhead, resides quite as comfortably in the circuits of a digital computer or the gears of cycle transmission as he does at the top of a mountain or in the petals of a flower." May it be so. And now our postlude by Alicia Tran. Thank you.
Thank
So obviously you're by saying that it's not such a